Hey there, guys. Welcome to this special episode, a celebratory episode of Mission America. And Paula, what are we celebrating?
We are celebrating walking or hiking 2,022 miles in 2022.
Yeah, just a couple of days ago, we finished off mile 2022. And those are miles that we did together on hikes or walks. It does not include my running miles or anything that we did separate. And so that is worthy of a high five.
Right.
Way to go. That was awesome. So many great memories this past year. There were times when it was cold. There were times when it was rainy. It was windy.
When it was hot.
It was miserable hot on a couple of those hikes. Some of them were easy, some were hard, but they were all together, and they were all wonderful memories in looking back. Even though in the moment, maybe some of them weren't so awesome at the time. They were mainly in Nebraska, Colorado, Wisconsin, Arizona,
South Dakota,
and what are we missing? Minnesota. Lots of great hikes this year. Next year, we're going to take on 2,023 miles as our challenge for the year 2023. And those will, of course, be all across the country, which we'll tell you about in just a bit. But we thought what it would be kind of neat to do is look back on this past year and share with you guys some of our highlights. So we have three categories that we're each going to share our top three in. They are the top three foods that we had this year, the top three moments or memories of the year, and our top three hikes. We have not shared our list with each other, so we don't really know exactly what the other one's gonna say, so it'll be as much a surprise for us as it will be you guys watching out there. So let's go ahead and get started. Paula, first of all, what do we have? We have top three foods.
Top three foods.
Give me your countdown. I got my list here as well. No cheating.
Number 3 is Hungry Hippie Tacos. Those fry bread tacos in Grand Marais, Minnesota were delicious. We'd never had fry bread tacos before, so I loved them.
They were amazing.
Yeah.
We had some tachos there too.
We had tachos, but the fry bread tacos for me
they were the hit.
They were the best.
Okay, number 2.
Number 2 was Bluebell Lodge in Custer State Park in South Dakota. I loved the lodge. I loved the food. It had what I ordered had those biscuit things on top, and it was.
They were biscuits.
They were biscuits.
Not biscuit things. They were actual biscuits.
They were biscuits. Maybe like 4 of them on top of my meal. So
they were delicious.
They were delicious.
And I remember I had some kind of mac and cheese with chicken on top, and it was good that night. But the next day we saved half of it for our next day's lunch. And we heated it up and had an extra biscuit each with cornbread that he had offered us for the next day, and that was even better on day 2.
The second day it was.
All right, number 1.
Number 1 was the fish boil in Door County. First of all, I loved the experience, but I really did like the fish and the breads and the potatoes and all the butter.
It was so yummy.
It was, but mainly it was just so much fun. Just sitting outside and watching the show, and then where we were dining at with the view of the water was really neat.
It's kind of funny listening back on her top 3 and knowing my top 3 is I'm excited that we're going to see new things this coming year, new places to eat, but man, I'm ready to go back to some places we've already been. That's awesome. We do have a little bit of overlap, but not a lot.
Okay.
All right, number 3 for me was the pot roast sandwich and pie at Pine Country Restaurant in Williams, Arizona.
That was delicious.
It was really, really tasty. They're known for their pies, and that pie was amazing. But the sandwich really stole the show for me, and that was special for you.
And I had been sick the day before, the whole day, and so I was so hungry, and it was delicious.
It was super salty and just had such a nice flavor to it. That was delicious.
Really good.
Number 2, and this is where there's a little bit of overlap for me, was the Hungry Hippie tacos in Grand Marais. Those fry bread tacos, like you said, we had never had them before. And so they were just really, really good.
They were.
And then the tachos were delicious as well, because you know me, it's tater tots, and then there was like cheese queso on top of them. I mean, how can you go wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
And number 1, I can't believe you didn't even remember this one.
Oh, I remember
and
that.
And that is Greco's Pastaria in Frisco, Colorado. We had chicken parmesan, as I recall, that you and I split, and then we had this skillet chocolate chip cookie with ice cream on top. We liked it so much, that we went back again later in the trip and had it a second time.
Did.
That was awesome.
It was really good.
There were plenty of others that we could have mentioned. And by the way, just for the record, on all of my top threes, I purposefully only had one entry per state. Because I very easily could have went on a run and went Minnesota,
Yeah.
or I could have went Colorado on any of these things.
I don't know if I did that.
So
or
I
not.
purposely made sure I spread the love out.
I didn't purposely do that, so I don't know.
But those were some great eats, and there were plenty more, and we're excited about the ones that are up ahead. All right, now top 3 memories or top 3 moments of the year.
Okay, you go first on this one.
I get to go first on this one.
Yeah.
Let me turn my list over here. Number 3 was the fish boil.
Oh, okay.
And so I wanted to get it in there, but I didn't want to use it on my food. And certainly the experience of it, the food was delicious. Far exceeded our expectations because we don't like fish. And so we weren't really expecting to like it that much. But when we had that butter and seasoning, it was amazing.
It was good.
And then those breads were awesome. But the experience of the show, just seeing our boil master out there, Torch, as his name was, as I recall. Just that big fireball and his storytelling before to kind of lead up to that, to tell us what it was all about. It was just a really cool experience on top of the great food at the end. The food was almost like icing on the cake or pot pie or whatever it was. So that's my number 3. Number 2 was top 3 moments or memories of the year. Was the moose sighting out at Lily Lake in Colorado. We were just walking along, and we actually were recording at the moment, and we hear this rustling off to the side of us, and all of a sudden this big moose just walks out right onto the trail in front of us, and we got to follow at a safe distance and get some good shots of him just eating his breakfast. And that was just, we hardly ever see a moose.
We had never seen a moose in Rocky Mountain
in Rocky Mountains, right.
And he was just right there with us.
And so it was just, that was really cool.
It was.
We love seeing the mountains and all of that stuff, but you're going to see those wherever you go, the mountains and the lakes and the different scenery like that. But the animals, you don't always get to see those with every trip.
That was
a treat. So that was a real treat for me. And then number 1 was meeting the Scott family. From South Carolina. We were hiking in South Dakota, and we rounded a corner, and this lady and her husband and their daughter came up towards us, and they said, "Hey there, you're Mission America. We watch your videos, and we've been reading your devotions," and it just made our day because it was the first people who had ever seen our channel and had come up to us and let us know that they were subscribers. And so that was kind of this is cool. Okay, people are actually watching what we're doing. And that made for a really good memory for me.
That was fun.
All right, top 3. I'm curious to see what you got.
We do have a little overlap.
Okay.
So number 3 was seeing the moose at Rocky Mountain National Park. So we've already talked about that, but it really was a treat to see the moose. Number 2 was meeting the Scott family. We saw them at 3 different places in the Black Hills.
3 different places in the Black Hills, 3 different parks, 3 different trails at the exact same time each time.
And we didn't give each other heads up as to where we were going.
It was really kind of a cool moment.
It was. And then my number 1 was the Leadville, Colorado trip with Jacob, because it was our last trip with him before he got married, and so that was a special time.
I almost put that down on a couple categories, and I didn't because it wasn't just you and me.
Right. Well, that's true.
Otherwise, certainly having Jacob along was a real treat, especially knowing that we're about to be apart from him for the first time in his 22 years of life, right?
Even though I didn't get to the top of Mount Elbert, it was still, the whole trip was just a really good trip and good memory.
Yes. Okay. Final category, the top 3 hikes of the year. You get to go first on this one. Give them to me.
Okay. My 3rd favorite was Subway Cave in Sedona. The incredible views, just the difficulty of the hike. And, by the way, I climbed up into the cave a little easier than you did, which is so unusual. So
she was like a mountain goat.
He was like, "How are you doing that?" And I was like, "I don't know."
I'm holding on to this one little twig to try to pull myself up, and she's just scurrying up the thing.
I turned around, and he was way at the bottom. I thought, what is happening?
That's what I was thinking as she was way at the top. What is happening? Why am I being left behind here?
Right.
I was hoping maybe you'd hold my hand and help me up.
That was a really, really pretty hike.
It was. I may say something about that in a minute.
Okay. Well, we better move on then. Okay, number 2 was Flatiron at Lost Dutchman State Park outside of Phoenix. Oh man, what a hike and a climb. It was hard, It was
and
beautiful.
we met Flatiron Jim.
Right. He's 90, almost 91 years old, and doing that a couple of times a week. We met him, talked to him, and he took off, and we never saw him again.
He left us behind.
He left us behind.
I mean, we're fairly accomplished hikers, and I'm an ultra trail runner, and I couldn't keep up with this 90-year-old guy.
It was hard, but it was
amazing.
It was an amazing hike.
Yeah. All right.
It was a beautiful park.
It was. It was.
Okay, what do you got?
That was your number one?
Oh, that was my number 2.
I was like,
okay.
I'm
number
not
1,
real
okay.
good at math, but apparently better than you are.
Carried away. Okay. Number 1 was Sky Pond at Rocky Mountain National Park. It was snowy. We climbed up a waterfall. I fell about 10 times.
At least.
We went down a snow chute. A youth group from Mississippi sang happy birthday to me that day. It was just altogether a great
It was like the
hike,
total package of a hike,
experience.
wasn't it? Yeah.
And just the lakes and things were beautiful.
That's awesome. Loved every one of them. Couldn't argue with any of those. In fact, some of them I won't argue with at all.
Okay, what do you got?
All right, number 3, I put down the Gooseberry Falls trails in Minnesota. I easily could have picked any of the state parks and any of those hikes in Minnesota on my list. They were all amazing, filled with waterfalls and rivers and cascades and just beauty everywhere we turned. But I went with Gooseberry because we got the upper falls, the middle falls, the lower falls, and the fifth falls. So you just got a whole bunch of stuff packed into like a 4 or 5 mile loop, whatever it was we ended up doing. And we got there super early because it's their busiest park in Minnesota. And so when we got there, we had the place basically to ourselves for the first hour or so. And so it was just amazing being able to experience that. Number 2 is the Boynton Canyon Trail, which is where the subway cave is, just outside Sedona. The trail itself wasn't very spectacular to get there. It was just okay, and you had to walk through some construction areas, and there was a resort with all kinds of stuff going on there, and so it wasn't exactly a peaceful, serene hike or anything, but the payoff.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the coolest things we have ever been at. I remember at least a year, maybe earlier than that, one of our friends had posted a picture from inside that cave where she had visited, and immediately we were like, we have to go visit that sometime. And so being able to experience that really was cool. And then that was right next to that, around the corner was those ruins, and you got to stand on the cliff edge there, that shelf, and look down, and the views were just
and just
amazing.
That red rock from that Sedona area,
just gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
I hope we get back to Sedona again. We got 3 good hikes in there, but there's so many more that I'd like to see next time we get to go through there. And then number 1, while it could have easily been Mount Elbert, the 14th, the highest peak in Colorado, second highest peak in the United States, or the lower 48 behind Mount Whitney. Or it could have been Twin Sisters, which was an amazing hike, so beautiful. It has to be Sky Pond.
Oh, it was amazing.
It has to be Sky Pond. Not only did we have so many cool things that we didn't get elsewhere, like Paula getting her birthday, getting the singing for her that day, getting to slide down that snow chute on the way back down, climbing up the waterfalls. But really, it was like 4 hikes in one.
It was.
Because you got Alberta Falls along the way, you got the Loch along the way, you got Lake of Glass along the way, and then finally the payoff was Sky Pond. And so it was really like getting 4 hikes in one. I can see why it is the number 1 ranked day hike in the Rocky Mountain National Park. It certainly lived up to the hype.
It was pretty amazing.
It was pretty cool. So those are our top 3s from the year. Can't wait to be here this time next year in end of 2023 and see what the top 3s are for that as well. Speaking of 2023, our 1-year camper van trip starts soon. We are literally just 5 or 6 days away from heading out on that trip. We've been planning this trip for 18 months, been preparing for it. We sold our house. We sold most of our possessions. We bought a camper van. We've taken a lot of test trips this year to kind of figure out what we're doing. A lot has happened in our personal lives as well. Our son Jacob graduated from college, magna cum laude, by the way, with honors in only 3.5 years. So congrats to Jacob. A double congrats to Jacob because he just got married too. So we now have a daughter-in-law that's in the family with us as well. We're excited about their own journey and adventure through life that's coming up for them. So it's been a busy year. We've been working hard to get ready for this, finishing up a bunch of projects, and now it is almost go time.
Right.
Are you super excited?
I'm excited.
We are going to chase 70s throughout the year. Obviously, sometimes it'll be colder, sometimes it'll be hotter, but we're going to try to aim for that. The first few months of the year will be in the southern states, starting in California and going all the way across to the east in Florida. Then we'll head to the Carolinas and Virginia and Kentucky, Tennessee, that during the spring, across to the Pacific Northwest during the summer months, and then finally culminating in the Northeast in New England for the fall. Mm-hmm. So that's our general route. We're super excited about it. We hope to release a new video every 4 to 5 days if everything goes well. So please be staying tuned to the channel. We would certainly appreciate you guys, each time you watch a video, hit that like button, leave us a comment. It is really encouraging to us.
It really encourages us.
It really makes us want to keep going and doing what we're doing, to know that you're along for the journey with us and that you are enjoying the videos as much as we're enjoying making them. So be sure to do that. It really means a lot. It means probably more than you think it would. And I don't even know how the whole algorithm thing works, if it helps to grow our channel or not, but I know it helps us. Right, it encourages us. So we're going to be heading out soon. We're going to start in Southern California in the San Diego area. Between now and then, it's going to take us about 5 or 6 days to get out there. We want to do it kind of slow and easy. We're going to create a video, an episode along the way of about 4 or 5 stops that we have planned. And so you'll want to stick around for that as well. Got anything else to add?
I think that's it.
We hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. We hope you have a very blessed New Year. And I hope part of your new year is, a great part of it, is following along our journey with us. Wherever your journey takes you, God bless you. That's it for our mission. What's your mission?
Well, hey guys, it's Jimmy here. Our mission in every episode of this vlog is to share one of our fun-filled adventures with you guys. But our greater mission in life is to share our hope and happiness with you. One of the ways we do this is through a short faith-based thought for the day that I write. They take about a minute to read each day. They're free, and they're available at finishlinefaith.com or facebook.com/finishlinefaith. I hope you'll take a look.